Hey everybody, it's me, Stacey, licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, and Couture Creations, here with our Take Two Tuesday free crafting class for today. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with a Take Two Tuesday event, we do it every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Sunny California time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, when we live chat during the premiere. So if you see a live chat going on over there, say hello, and we'll say hello back. Now, I am super excited that over the next several weeks, I'm going to be sharing with you my July collection from Sizzix. I know, it'll be my third collection for Sizzix already this year. Wow! And my July collection, well, it's a nod to Christmas. While there definitely is some Christmas going on, many of the items that I've designed were meant to be Christmas if you want them, but they can be all year round too. And I have my first embossing folders, my first 3D embossing folders with coordinating stencils. And that's what we're gonna be playing with today. So I'm gonna be talking to you about all of that fabulous product, all while promoting some local, well, I don't know how local they are, some independent retailers and online stores who are going to be carrying this product. In fact, you might be able to click over to some of them and put yourself on the Notify Me list. In the description of this YouTube, you will see I've listed some independent retailers, some online retailers where you're going to be able to get this product come July 1st. And really, the whole intent of these Take Two Tuesday classes are to teach and to show you, so then if you do have a local independent store or a favorite online store, you shop with them and go get your Stacey Park Sizzix, Stacey Park Jacquard, Stacey Park Couture Creations, Microfine Glitter. Go sprinkle a little happiness at those stores. My job here is to show you and to teach you and to create with you and to share with you and to build a community with you. So today it is about my 3D, well, my first 3D embossing folder. I actually have 3 of them coming out in July, but I'm going to be playing with one of them today and the coordinating stencil. We're going to keep it easy peasy. I'm going to show you how they work. I'm going to show you why they can be Christmas or Easter or Valentine's or happy birthday or happy Father's Day or happy Mother's Day or anything you want it to be, because the design of it is meant to carry forward. If you're a retailer, have no fear. A nod to Christmas is here. These designs are going to be useful in your store during your Christmas holiday season, but also all year round. And that's kind of what makes me an essentials designer for Sizzix. And essentials is a category they have where they put product that is what they call evergreen or non-theme specific, so that it can be used again and again and again for many different things. And my designs tend to fall into that category because I believe in giving the most value that I can. And if I can take one product and do 15 different things with it, well, I love that. So let's get started for today. I'm gonna tilt on down. Oh, these are dirty. I'm gonna tilt on down. I wouldn't be able to see you. Tilt on down, and we're gonna get started for today. Hello, everybody. I'm Stacey, and I'm a licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, and Couture Creations. Let's get started. So excited for Christmas. I'm the first Christmas launch for Sizzix this year. I am over the moon about it. And it just makes my heart happy. Okay, first 3D embossing folder. See? It can be Christmas, but it doesn't have to be Christmas. I love this embossing folder. And then we have a single layer stencil to go with. Single layer stencil. And the price on this stencil is holy smokes artichokes. Well, the price on the embossing folder is holy smokes artichokes. I think you're going to love them when you see them. The good news is the embossing folder, it works all by itself. You don't need anything more than that. And the stencil is a standalone stencil. It works all by itself. You don't need anything more than that. But when you pair them together, you get dimension and depth all in one. So I'm going to get started, and I think I'm going to start with the embossing folder. Here it is, pretty simple. Looks like a Sizzix embossing folder, pretty darn thick. Let's see if I can go down just a little bit more. Pretty darn thick. And it has the Sizzix, I don't know if I can get it in there, but it is indexed, and it has the Sizzix name on the front, and it has a design on the front so that you can see it. The back side of their embossing folders is a little bit smaller than their front side, and some tend to think that this is the top. It actually isn't. That smaller side is the back side. You always want to look for the side that has the Sizzix logo, because that's going to tell you what the top is. Now, I'm going to play with this with a couple of the Sizzix opulent papers. I'm going to start by just doing a basic embossing. And I have got a couple of the Sizzix opulent papers. I've got rose gold, which is what I'm going to show you right here. I've got rose gold, I've got silver, and I've got gold. Now, if you've never seen opulent paper before, retailers out there, holy smokes, artichokes, this is a dream come true. It is 5 specialty papers, all in rose gold or silver or charcoal or gold. It's beautiful. You get 5 specialty finishes. You get 10 sheets each, all sold in one package. I am telling you, opulent paper is a winner chicken dinner, and I love it. I want to say there's maybe 8 or 9 different packs of opulent, and honest to goodness, the gold, the silver, the rose gold, you can't go wrong with any of them. Everybody just loves them. So, and it gives them plenty to start with, 10 sheets of each. But I'll tell you, retailers, this is something you should definitely have in your store. So I'm going to start, well, here's the silver just because. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. First time I saw opulent paper, I was like, holy smokes, artichokes. The glitter, the satin, the metal finish, the pearl, and the mirror finish, all in one package. Wahoo kachoo is what I said. So I'm going to start with some opulent, and I'm just going to emboss my folder. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to grab a piece of paper, and I've put it in with the bigger side facing me. Smaller side and no printing is the bottom. I'm going to bring over my Sizzix Big Shot machine, and with a 3D embossing folder, Sizzix has put it right on the base platform how you use a Sizzix embossing folder with this platform. Now, there is no standardized sizes for embossing folders in the industry. So everybody's embossing folder might take a slightly different sandwich. But for a Sizzix embossing folder, it tells you right here, you just need your base platform, you need your embossing folder, and you need your clear plate, a cutting plate, whatever you're going to use over the top. You need one of the plates that your machine comes with, whether it be a do not cut plate or a cut plate. It doesn't make a difference. And then I'm just going to roll it through. Now you can go forwards and backwards. It's entirely up to you. And what you're going to get is a highly engineered 3D embossing folder image. And you're like, what do you mean highly engineered? Let me tell you. Sizzix, they don't joke around. Their embossing folders are made beautifully. They are made to a level that is just stunning. They calibrate every little dimension so that when you pull it out, it is an absolute aha moment. It's gorgeous, and that depth. Now you do have the back side. So you have a debossed side or an embossed side, entirely up to you. But that depth on the embossing folders is amazing. So I can trim it on out, and let's try it. This was with the pearlized paper. Let me try it with one of the other colors. Look at how beautiful this is. So this is a stunner for a wedding invitation or a bridal shower or a baby shower or a Mother's Day card. It is a stunner in this color. But let's try it in the metal gold and see what we get. Put it in. Love me some opulent paper. Now remember, this isn't available until July 1st. I'm giving everybody several weeks of a Wahoo Could Choose sneak peek before it ever launches. I'm gonna roll it on through. I'm gonna bring it on back. And like I said, I have 3 3D embossing folders for this launch. How lucky am I? Now y'all were saying, when are you doing embossing folders, Stacey? Well, the embossing folders take a little bit longer to manufacture because of how calibrated they are on that depth. Sizzix don't play when it comes to their embossing folders. Let me tell you, if they don't meet the specs, they don't do them. And that's about standards and about quality. If they just good enough isn't good enough. I have learned that being a licensed designer for Sizzix. Just good enough isn't good enough. It has to be great. I don't know that I fully appreciated that before, but I sure do now that I understand the lengths that they go through and why their name. Well, I always knew, you always knew Sizzix stood for quality, but now I understand the backstory of some of it. And wow, okay, dreamy, right? So now I've got it in my pink, I've got it in my gold, and let's do one more, just in the silver. Look at this. This is satin silver. Look at that satin. Oh, yum. Let's put it on in and let's roll it on through. Look at how fast you can make. Well, if you're doing Christmas cards, look at how fast you can get them done. Again, my base platform, I don't need anything down against it. My embossing folder face up so you can see the design. A cut pad or a do not cut pad, it doesn't make a difference. Send it on through. It goes through like butter. And then if you want to, bring it on back. And again, not cracking the paper. None of the paper was cracked. The definition is stunning. If you can see the definition, look at how deep that embossing is. All done with Sizzix Opulent paper. I really encourage everybody out there, if you haven't played with Opulent, go find a retailer who sells it. Buy a pack, whether you love the gold, the silver, the ivory, which is more white than ivory, the charcoal, the festive. Oh, the festive. Oh, I should have grabbed the festive for this, shouldn't I? Maybe for next week, I'll grab the festive Opulent. Yummy. So, specialty papers. No cracking, no tearing, and beautiful. With one of my first 3D embossing folders. And this folder is my Golden Rings, is the name of my embossing folder. So, and the SKU, if you want to write it down for July, the SKU is 666700. It's the Stacey Park Cosmopolitan Golden Rings embossing folder, and you always know it's my product because it has that teal edge. You don't even have to look for my name. You see that teal edge that says, hello, I'm a Stacey Park Design. All right, so now we've played with Opulent. Let's get into some of the Revealz paper. And of course, this is the paper that sands to a different color. Whether you sand it, you tear it, it goes into a different color. And let's take the green And let's take a red. And you're like, what do you mean it's a different color on the inside? Well, if I tear it, it tears to a lighter shade of that color. Pretty rock star, right? It's not solid core. If it was solid core, it would be this blue all the way through. And it's not white core, because if I tore it, you would see white paper. It is color core paper, which is simply beautiful. And it's in the A6 size. That's what I'm using here. They're A6 size, which means I can just pop it right into my embossing folder. Hello. Yay, pop it right into my embossing folder and send it right on through. Now, I'm a girl who likes to do chomp, chomp, chomp. I don't put my crease, my fold here in first. I do chomp, chomp, chomp. Everybody has a different way of sending their embossing folders through. I've been doing embossing folders for close to 20 years now, and this is always the way I've done it. So you do what works best for you. I do chomp, 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 and I'm gonna send it on through. And bam, done. Let's do the green while I'm here. I'm gonna put the green in. Fits right in, look at that, easy peasy. That A6 paper is perfect for all of your Sizzix embossing folders. You don't have to trim it down to anything. It just slides right on in and lets you continue to create. So the Revealz paper comes in an A4 size, which is big, almost like an 8.5 by 11, and the A6 size. And some of you are like, well, why A6 and not A2? Well, because Sizzix is a global company. So A6 is a more universal size. Look at how gorgeous is this. And you're saying, yeah, that looks really nice, but now what? Well, we're gonna sand it, hello. Sanding blocks, Sizzix, 2 per pack. Why do you need these? If you're getting the Revealz paper, the sanding block was made to work with paper. It is not, the grit is not so light that you're gonna be sanding forever and nothing's gonna happen. And the grit is not so harsh that you're going to tear your paper. And it will happen. You can go out to your garage and maybe find some sandpaper there. And it may work. It may be that you tear your paper. It may be that it doesn't take any of the color off at all. But for the price of the two sanding blocks that you get here and the ease of use in your hand, 4 sides have the sandpaper. You have peace of mind that you are not going to accidentally tear your paper. And to me, that's important. So sanded, not sanded. And it didn't sand to a white, it sanded to that lighter shade of that green, which screams Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Season's Greetings. But this also can be Happy Father's Day, Happy Birthday. Depending on what you do with it, it can be for Halloween, it can be for fall. Little googly eyes in there would be cute for Halloween. It is a pretty folder. And you want a folder that's going to last, because they do. They're made to last the test of time. So once you buy it, you're going to use it again and again. You're going to keep it forever. And when you have a design that you can go back to again and again, well, that's a happy day. There's the green. Let's do the red. While this will make a stunning Christmas card, this would also make a lovely Valentine's Day card or happy anniversary card in the red. So pretty. And you can sand as much or as little as you would like. My sandpaper is not going through my paper yet. I'm having that opportunity to really add that texture and that dimension by adding that sanding element. It almost looks like you've inked it, but you didn't. You just sanded it. Beautiful and easy. And I love the size of the A6 when I'm using the embossing folders because I just don't have to think about it. Makes my heart happy. So we've done Revealz paper now, so pretty. We've done opulent paper now, so pretty. But we have more to go. And I think I'll send through some white paper. Well, I can cut that in half. I think I'm going to send through some white paper. Bring over my machine. For me, I do chomp, 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 chomp. See, chomp, chomp, chomp. And everybody does it differently, and there's really not a right and a wrong, honestly. Back and forward. And here I go in just white. Isn't that stunning in just white? Do an all white card, an all white Christmas card with a pop of blue or red somewhere on it. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Let's do another. I think I'll leave this one. A little bit bigger so I've got some room. And I'm just using 80-pound white cardstock. That's it, 80-pound white cardstock. Nothing special. This is my Sizzix super smooth white cardstock. It is lovely cardstock because of how smooth it is. But if you've got white cardstock, absolutely use it up. Or if you have another brand of cardstock in your retail store, absolutely. Show them how to do this with that. It's about using what you've got. And if you ever have the opportunity to play with the Sizzix white, well then take that opportunity as well. So now I've got two in white, and I'm gonna change things up for just a minute, and I'm gonna bring over the stencil. So I've got my stencil and stamp tool right here by Sizzix, and it's a stencil layering tool, but it's also a stamp positioner. When you have the lid, it comes on and off easy peasy, and you're going to use that lid when you're using it as a stamp positioner. Since I am not, I can take the lid and move it right off. Now I've got a piece of sticky grid. Sticky grid comes with the tool, and retailers, holy smokes, artichokes, you should have these in your store. This is a tool that says what it does and does what it says, and it lets everybody play in the sandbox because you can use anybody's stencils with it if you use the converters from Sizzix, which are super easy to do. It comes with a single sheet of sticky grid that goes on and off. It allows your paper to be put down and it just doesn't move, and then you pull it up. You can see that my paper is pretty, or my sticky grid's pretty used. I mean, I've inked over the top of it, so what? It's all good. The only thing that makes sticky grid stop sticking is if you continually are doing this, because the oil's from your hands, or glitter, embossing powder, talc powder. But my goodness gracious, one sheet of sticky grid is going to go a long way. Once it no longer sticks, Sizzix sells it in a 5-pack, and it's so reasonably priced. It really is. Now I've got my alignment tool here, and the reason I have my alignment tool is because Sizzix does have holes in the top of their stencils. All of their stencils come with holes in the top of them, and that's where this alignment tool comes into play. See these little squares here? These little squares correlate to the lid. So what was holding the lid in, and it allows you to move your alignment tool up, down, sideways, back ways, front ways, forward ways, anywhere you want to put it. So you can line your stencil up anywhere on your paper. If you're doing something 12 by 12 and you want you to stencil towards the bottom, easy peasy. You bring it down lower and stencil towards the bottom. If you're doing what I'm doing and I just want to stencil a piece of paper, I can pull it up towards the top. It allows you to do a continuous stencil by moving the stencil over and over. So great. And for today, I'm just using one stencil. The beauty of it is that for a layering stencil, once you put it down, you're able to lift it up and see what you've done before you put your next layer down. So I'm going to put this on there. Now, while it's going to let me lift up and take down, it is not a I'm going to hold your stencil in position and you don't have to touch it at all. No, it's an alignment tool, not a I'm going to hold your stencil forever in the same place tool. You still are going to need to have hands on. And let's do some in red. So I'm going to grab a little bit of my Jacquard ink. And I've got my stencil, and I'm just going to add a little bit of red. So I can see that my ink is pretty light in color, and I'm trying to go a little bit light. I think I'm going to grab one of my blending mats to make my life easier. So I've got a little bit of a blending mat over here where I can tap my ink off so I can desaturate the color. My Jacquard inks are highly saturated, like no joke, highly saturated. They are an amazing blendable ink that is water reactive, and the saturation is so high that you can get an entire, an entire ombre of a color, from the darkest of darks reds to the lightest of lights. In fact, maybe that's what I'll do here, is I'll come back. So what I've got right now is that. Look at how easy that was. But let's take it one step further. And you're like, but Stacey, you just took the stencil off. Now we've got to wait for you to reposition it and put it back on. Nope. Bam. Done. Back in the same place. And that is what makes this tool so spectacular. I mean it, retailers. If you don't have it yet, it is something you may want to look to bring in for your store. Do a make and take around it or a demo around it. Let people see, feel, and touch. Get one open so that they can play with it themselves. And all of a sudden, when they see the ease of use and how it makes them look so good with so little, they really are a wonderful tool. And again, you don't have to worry about other stencils not having the holes in the top. Your customers, they're not going to push the, make the holes in it. Heavens no. They have, Sizzix has converters. They sell 10 of them to a pack. They have a little piece of adhesive. They go right on the top of anybody's stencils, and they have 2 little holes in them so that you can use this tool with anybody's stencils. And those converters are reusable. Love this. It's important that a tool do what it says it's going to do, and then actually do it. So just trying to get a little bit of an ombre here, just so you can see how by desaturating my color, I'm able to get that, and I'm putting my finger down, get that ombre look. And I'm going to come back here, and the darker I make this side, the more color I add here, the lighter this side looks, the more of a contrast I get. So I'm going full saturation here, full saturation, and then I'm pulling it out to my lighter color. Now I can lift up and look and see what I've done. Isn't that beautiful? And it was just that easy. So pretty. Yum. Let's do it with the green because we are talking Christmas here. We are talking Christmas. So let's do it. Let me grab another piece of paper and let's do it with the green. I do have to clean my stencil off, and the best way to do that is with a baby wipe. Because the inks, my dye-based inks, are water soluble, easy peasy, they would just wipe right up. Baby wipe, and I am good to go. So as you can see, this stencil is a standalone stencil. You don't need the embossing folder to go with it. And as you saw, the embossing folder is a standalone embossing folder. You don't need the stencil to go with it. But my goodness gracious, if you've got both of them, you have got a little bit of magic in the making. So let's go to my green. Wipe off my red. And let's add some green and do one in green, because we are talking Christmas here, right? So I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna add a little bit of green, kinda everywhere. And as you can see, my fingers are walking down with my stencil. But if I needed to, I could pick it up and look and see what I've done, put it back down, line it right back up again. And I'm just keeping it light and airy. This could be very shabby chic in the green this light. Now my green ink really isn't this light. I've just desaturated it so that I get that super light shade. Wouldn't that be pretty with, what is it, cabbage roses all over it? Oh my goodness, this would be beautiful for a very tea party-ish look. So pretty for a very soft feminine birthday or a thank you. But now I'm gonna darken it up a little bit. So let's add a little color. Oh, see, look at that. Did you see that? I went straight to my ink, came right in, and look at the depth of color. So Jacquard is a fine art medium company. They are known in the fine art world and are highly respected in that world. They're kind of new to the crafting industry, but by gosh, when you have an opportunity to play with beautiful product that really is on a level higher because of the quality of the materials that they start with, it is a dream come true. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna come in over here and dark, 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 dark. Dark, 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 dark. And just add that color in. And then light, light, light. Now I want to come back because the darker my ends are, the lighter my center looks. That contrast really just stands right out. So I want full saturation. there we go. So now I've used the stencil. I could have just done it all one color, but I like to have highs and lows and depth perception. Now that I've done the stencil, I can come back and do my embossed. So we'll do the green because I've already got it here. Put my stencil right back. Now because it has the embossing, I do have to line it up. In fact, I think I'm going to do the one that has the little tabs. I've got little handholds here just to make it a little easier for me. I do have to line it up. And yes, I emboss first, stencil second. And I know people are like, well, doesn't that wear down the embossing? Not at all. So I want to get in there and I want to line it up. Put it down. And now let's go. Well, now I took all the green off my hands. I suppose now I could do maybe red. Well, we'll still do green. And let's go in there and go. And green, green, green. And I've got that texture from the embossing. Now I'm not pushing down so hard, it doesn't hurt the embossing. And the reason why I'm doing it second is because the embossing folder from Sizzix is a darker color. It's a little harder to stencil first and then line it up in the embossing folder because you can't see where you're lining it up. If they ever change the color to a clear translucent, I may change my mind. But for now, because of the way the embossing folder is, I emboss first, stencil second. And again, it does not harm, it does not flatten out my embossing, because I'm not like, I'm very soft and saying, ooh, isn't this pretty? Even when I'm going in with more saturation, I'm still not pressing down so hard. I'm just layering that ink on again and again and again. And that's all I'm doing is layering ink. And the more I layer, the darker that color intensifies. And I like the ombre look. I just think it's so pretty. So I want to keep it light at the top. I can lift it up and see where I'm at. Oh, and I can hear the embossing. Oh, that's like a happy moment. Come back in here, really get this end dark because I want that contrast. I want that aha moment. Light, 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 almost to a white. Lift it up. And now I have got that beautiful, deep, rich 3D embossing against my beautiful ink. Okay, we'll try to do the red. And then I'm gonna give these, we're gonna make samples all of these later. I'm taking these all downstairs and we're gonna make fabulous samples out of them. They're too pretty to not. And this is just the first of my Nod to Christmas collection. It's what we should have called it, a nod to Christmas. And y'all should know, wait. Okay, so this is July. This is for July 2024 for my July release. I'm doing Christmas 2025 already. Just saying. I've already designed Christmas 2025. So I sure hope you like 2024. And 2025 is a nod to Christmas. I think that they're just gonna have to name my collections that, because while I love having designated, and I do have some very specific Christmas things, I do. I also like having things that give me options and longevity. And I like for retailers to be able to put something out there that they've got longer than 30 days to sell it. Because really in our industry, that's about what you have for paper and things like that. You only have about 30 days to move it in and out. But with something like this, that is a staple, it's a foundational item that every crafter can use. It just makes it makes the value in it that much more. Okay, so I've got it down. Let's try my red. I just want a nice even color. And I am able to pick it up, look at it, and then put it back down, and it will line itself right back up again. So I'm already back to inking while everybody else is still trying to figure out if they've got it taped or magneted in the right place. I'll be done with mine by the time somebody else who has to tape it back down or use magnets to put it back down is sure that they have lined it up where it's supposed to be. I have given that worry away to Sizzix. I get to have the creativity, and they took care of the thought process. That makes my heart happy. All right, so I've got some color here. Lift it up, looks great, but I think I'm gonna come in and add, and of course my colors are blendable, but I'm sticking with the red and the green just for some Christmas. I'm gonna come back in here and I'm gonna just darken my edges. I'm gonna get those edges super dark, super saturated all the way around. And what that is going to do is that's going to focus my eye in on the middle. So whatever embellishment I put in that center, whatever sentiment I put in that center, because I have darkened my border, it automatically focuses your eye in, it draws it into that center. So if you're trying to highlight that center, just add some extra color all the way around. All the way around. And again, the darker I get the color on my edges, the lighter it's going to look in the center. It's all about playing with contrast and brightness. And we see that on our phones if we're taking a picture and you want to change the brightness or the contrast of it, or you add a filter. Doing these, having this border like this, or here, like this, or like this, is playing, it's like playing with a filter inside your camera, only you're doing it yourself. All right, so I think I'm gonna be good. Well, let's lift up and see what I think. So now I pull it up. And I've got dark all the way around, but lighter in the middle. Now I can put whatever sentiment I want in the middle, and it's going to draw my eye into it. Because I've used the same color ink, it's tone on tone. It looks great, easy peasy. I've got all of that beautiful, rich embossing and color to boot. So whether you do it in just flat with just the stencil, lovely on its own, whether you decide you want to emboss and sand it, And you could ink on top of that. Lovely on its own. You could ink on top of that with some luster wax. Oh my gosh. Some gold and silver luster wax. Whether you play with the opulent paper. This is the 3D embossing folder that is going to stay with you. That's going to become a go-to for you. And it's just simple and effective. And it didn't take anything more than my Big Shot machine and some ink. And does it have to be my ink? Of course not. If you've got a dye-based ink that you love, 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 use it. My ink is a specialty ink. It will stamp, it will absolutely stencil. It is meant to really blend and colorize and use with water. And my Reinkers, honestly, my Reinkers I use more than my ink pads. My Reinkers I love, love, love because the saturation is so intense. What you can do with them is just wonderful. Now let's take and let's mat just a few of these. I'm gonna put my little alignment tool back in place. There it goes, right back in place. I've got my lid that I can put right back on. Bam. Yes, I have inked around my sticky grid, but it's still sticky, so I'm not giving it up yet. And now I can take just a few of these and maybe mat them on something. So let's trim this one out. This is my first of 3 embossing folders for Christmas. And the stencil is called Golden Rings, Cosmopolitan Golden Rings 2. Should have been called Adornment. I don't know why we missed that. But because usually the adornment means that it's the stencil. The SKU number is 666695. So the SKU number for the embossing folder is 666700, and the stencil is 666695. You will notice that the stencil is bigger than the embossing folder because we could. So you can do the embossing folder, but you can also do bigger pieces of paper. You can go a little bit bigger than what the stencil is. You've got a little bit more room. Let's put those there and let's just mat some of these. So grab my here, and I'm just putting a little bit of double-sided tape down. You would do a better job of matting than me. I'm just trying to get it down so I can show you. I think I'm gonna, ooh, maybe I do it on the silver. Ooh, pretty. And then all we need to do is add embellishments or a sentiment. The embossing folder is pretty enough on its own that you really don't need to add anything more to it unless you want to. Oh, I was off. Okay, well, we'll trim it out. So I don't use a trimmer, I freehand. And I'm gonna have to get it really close because when I put it down, I was off, and I'm not gonna try and lift it. We're just gonna go for it. Imperfect is the new perfect. I've gotten over trying to have everything Hallmark ready. I am a maker who makes, and I take joy in making, and then who I give it to, they take joy in the giving and the receiving. So it's all about, let's see, what color would I want to put against there? Maybe just the silver. Maybe I just leave it. So pretty. Just mat it out in a slight silver. I feel like I want maybe something else on it. And then put that, ooh, and then put that on the gold and leave a slightly bigger mat. Sure, why not? Let's cut out some gold and leave myself a slightly bigger mat this time. So I've got just a little bit of a silver sliver showing. The opulent is ideal for all of your holiday, truly ideal. And retailers, you do a make and take with this opulent, and my goodness gracious, it is a wow moment. A little bit of the gold. And this time be a little bit more careful when I'm matting. And trim it out. And I know you're like, just get a trimmer. I don't do well with trimmers. So lovely. And that green. That green against the gold. Ooh, I think I like this one. This one's just the stencil. Next week, I don't know what we're going to play with next week. I think I'll not do another embossing folder. I'll skip a week and then do something else. I've got beautiful stamps and beautiful dies that are a nod to Christmas as well. So that you're not using it just for one season, but as often as you choose to. And as a maker myself, I understand that you want the opportunity for something to be more than a one-trick pony. So do I. Otherwise, you really better love that shape that you're buying if all it does is that one thing. And if you love it, by all means, grab it and use it. On the gold. It just adds that little something something. And then maybe a little bit on the black. Ugh, isn't that so elegant? Isn't that so elegant? Makes everything pop. And then your sentiment right here. Season's greetings, happy holidays, from our family to yours, Merry Christmas, whatever it is you celebrate. On this one, also maybe a little bit in the black. Happy Valentine's Day, happy anniversary, happy holidays, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. It is all up to you. The options are yours because the design is evergreen. So we played with my stencil and my new 3D embossing folder coming out July. They're not available yet, but you can go to several online retailers and put yourself on a notify me list. You can contact your local independent retailer and say, are you gonna order the Stacey Park Christmas from Sizzix, and get yourself on a pre-order with them. We used Opulent today. We used our Revealz today. We used our sanding tool today. We used our inks today. A little bit of everything. Love the Opulent. It just it just elevates everything. Beautiful. And I have just a few samples to show you. So here, we've got Warm Winter Wishes. So we've taken blue and ombreed it on down. We've got the Warm Winter Wishes. We've matted it in the opulent. You've got the muted opulent for the blue and the silver opulent. Lovely. It is done with the embossing folder, so you get that feel from it. But here, I want to show you this one because it's also done in blue. But this one says thank you on it. Done in the opulent. And it's not a holiday card. Both done in blues, but for two different occasions. The variety, the opportunity, all awaits you. And then here, just a note. So now we've got the pattern going horizontally and not vertically. All right, you guys. I am excited for my Christmas collection 2024. And to be honest with you, I'm excited for my Christmas collection 2025 because I know what I've done. I hope that you took a look under the description of this YouTube to see the retailers that we're highlighting. Hello, all of you retailers out there. I am so honored to be supporting you and bringing you product that I hope resonates with your customers. And Stacey Sizzix is here for you if you have questions or anything I can help with. And look for this. It'll be available July 1st globally. Every place but Scrapbooking Made Simple. Scrapbooking Made Simple takes a step back by several weeks to really then go out and support all of the retailers who are carrying this product in their store, whether it be online or a brick and mortar. So thanks everybody for spending today with me. Next week, a little more nod to Christmas, and I do think I know what I'm going to be doing with you, and I think you're going to love it. So I will see you next Tuesday, 5 p.m. sunny California time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern when we live chat during the premiere. I am Stacey. I'm a licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, and Couture Creations, and I so appreciate spending this time with you. We're building a community. That's what we're doing. Bye, everybody.